Well, hello, and welcome back to the Coachman. For today, we're going to be sticking in the same theme with the late 1800s, but we're going to take a nice little hop, skip, and a jump over to the small country of Denmark, and we're going to be reading the wonderful story by Hans Christian Andersen called "The Little Match Seller" or "The Little Match Girl." And unlike the Brothers Grimm, you might want to take a deep breath for this one because Mr. Anderson did not hold back. He really had a very incredible way of blending fantasy and deep sadness and realism, where he just painted. He just wanted to paint a true story, and hands down, that's it. It's just this is what it is. And growing up in poverty himself, like he always, I guess he just really relayed that into his stories to just show the brutal truth. So, with that being said, here is The Little Match Seller. It was terribly cold and nearly dark on the last evening of the old year, and the snow was falling fast. In the cold and the darkness, a poor little girl, with bare head and naked feet, roamed through the streets. It is true, she had on a pair of slippers when she left home, but they were not of much use. They were very large, so large indeed that they had belonged to her mother, and the poor little creature had lost them in running across the street to avoid two carriages that were rolling along at a terrible rate. So as you can see, when you got a kid that's wearing, their parents' shoes, hey, it's rough. Rough in these streets. One of the slippers she could not find, and a boy seized upon the other and ran away with it, saying that he could use it as a cradle when he had children of his own. Basically, my man was saying, "Yo, this is a boat, so but I'm gonna steal from you because I need some kicks." So the little girl went on with her little naked feet, which were quite red and blue with the cold. In an old apron she carried a number of matches, and had a bundle of them in her hands. No one had bought anything of her the whole day, nor had anyone given even a penny. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept along. Poor little child, she looked a picture of misery. The snowflakes fell on her long, fair hair, which hung in curls on her shoulders, but she regarded them not. Lights were shining from every window, and there was a savory smell of roast goose. Nor it was, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she remembered that. In a corner between two houses, one of which projected beyond the other, she sank down and huddled herself together. She had drawn her little feet under her, but she could not keep off the cold, and she dared not go home, for she had sold no matches and could not take home even a penny of money. Her father would certainly beat her. Besides, it was almost as cold at home as here, for they had only the roof to cover them, through which the wind howled, although the largest holes had been stopped up with straw and rags. In other words, Daddy was like, "Yo, all y'all gonna help me out, or somebody's getting this wrath." Well, 9 out of 10, the dad was just as like, he sent the kids out because he was just as lazy, frustrated, annoyed, and just, yeah, down on his luck. And that's normally what happens. Her little hands were almost frozen with the cold. Ah, perhaps a burning match might be some good. If she could draw it from the bundle and strike it against the wall, just to warm her fingers. Just to let you know, also, I just remembered another thing about like one of the craziest things about this time is I know that like even today, you know what I mean? People always are enamored by Christmas. Oh, the wonderful, joyous season. But yo, I could have swore I read a statistic a couple weeks, like years ago, that said that around Christmas time it has the most suicides. Just because people are so struggling. Like when they're struggling, and this is or not even like their suicides, but also depression. It kicks in, and it's all because of the holidays. Because when they don't have Christmas presents, and oh my God, it's not so high holly. But like we forget, like And especially like how she doesn't want to go home to her dad, especially when men can't provide, and especially this time when you weren't a provider, it even hit harder. So yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, I can honestly tell you, I've heard it at my job, this week where tenants came in, they're like, oh, and they're low income, and they're just like, damn, I feel so embarrassed. I can't even buy my kids, some Christmas presents. And it's like, but whatever happened, it's just making it a day of like, yo, we're here, we're alive, we're together. Screw it, let's go have some fun. You know what I mean? So sad, but it happens. She drew one out, scratch. How it sputtered as it burnt. It gave a warm, bright light, like a little candle, as she held her hand over it. It was really a wonderful light. It seemed to the little girl that she was sitting by a large iron stove, with polished brass feet and a brass ornament. How the fire burned, and seemed so beautifully warm that the child stretched out her feet as if to warm them, when, lo! The flame of the match went out, the stove vanished, and she had only the remains of the half-burnt match in her hand. She rubbed another match on the wall. It burst into flame, and where its light fell upon the wall it became as transparent as veil, and she could see into the room. The table was covered with a snowy white tablecloth on which stood a splendid dinner service, and a streaming roast goose stuffed with apples and dried plums. And what was still more wonderful, the goose jumped down from the dish and waddled across the floor, with a knife and a fork in its breast, to the little girl. Then the match went out, and there remained nothing but the thick, damp, cold wall before her. It's amazing what an imagination can do. She lighted another match, and then she found herself sitting under a beautiful Christmas tree. It was larger and more beautifully decorated than the one which she had seen through the glass door at the rich merchant's. Thousands of tapers were burning upon the green branches and colored pictures, like those she had seen in the show windows, looked down upon in awe. The little one stretched out her hand towards them, and the match went out. The Christmas light the Christmas lights rose higher and higher, till they looked to her like the stars in the sky. Then she saw a star fall, leaving behind it a bright stream of fire. Someone is dying, thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only one who had ever loved her, and who was now dead, had told her that when his star falls, a soul was going up to God. And I don't know if you ever heard, like I've heard of that tale. I don't know where the origins of it are, but I have heard that, like, yeah, every time that you see a shooting star, that means that somebody's flying to heaven. Which is interesting. I like I said, I wish I knew, but but no, it's really I think it's a cool idea. It's kind of like it's all for me. It's almost the equivalent of when I know in some cultures, way back when, especially I think maybe the Egyptians did it. I'm not sure, where they would use to mummify you, and then they used to send you down the river with money on your eyes, and it's supposed to pay for your toll, to cross over. So there's all kinds of stuff like that, but it's cool. I ain't gonna lie, I saw this like ghetto. Like, I'm not gonna say much. I don't want to give it away, but I saw this ghetto ass. I saw a YouTube video or a short of like and it was kind of funny because it was a guy saying when you just want to be alone with the bereaved, and it had this woman just singing all kind of gospely, but she was like ghetto as shit. And then she was just singing a cappella, and then she's like, yeah, go ahead, let him go. And it was kind of like everybody had these like balloons that they let go, almost that they were like letting it fly. I mean, honestly, it was straight like a ghetto funeral. But that's what do you? It's what happens, man. It's what people feel. That's what they need to do. Hey, I'm not hating. She again rubbed a match on the wall, and the light shone round her. In the brightness stood her old grandmother, clear and shining, yet mild and loving in her appearance. "Grandmother," cried the little one, "oh, take me with you. I know you will go away when the match burns out. You will vanish like the warm stove, the roast goose, and the large, glorious Christmas tree." And she made haste to light the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother there. And the matches glowed with a light that was brighter than the noonday, and her grandmother had never appeared so large or so beautiful. She took the little girl in her arms, and they both flew upwards in the brightness and joy far above the earth, where there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor pain, for they were with God. In the dawn of morning, there lay the poor little one, with pale cheeks and smiling mouth, leaning against the wall. She had been frozen to death on the last evening of the year, and the New Year's sun rose and shone upon a little corpse. The child still sat in the stillness of death, holding the matches in her hand, one bundle of which was burnt. She tried to warm herself, said some. No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, nor what glory she had entered with her grandmother on New Year's Day. So as you can see, it ends it ends in a different way, but for me, I will say this is that um the story, it doesn't ask anyone to smile. It just, I think it's asking everyone to notice. You know what I mean? And the little match girl, like, she wasn't invisible, she wasn't ignored, and she was ignored, and that's kind of like the difference. You know what I mean? Um, and there is a big difference between being invisible and being ignored. Um, because there are many kids, especially like just many poor kids, that they're not invisible. They're just ignored. People just don't pay attention to them. And even, I'll even say this. Think about when honestly, I will tell you this. Think about it. If you won the lottery, yeah, if I won the lottery, how many motherfuckers will be coming out? Like, how bad will my phone be blowing up? Yo, what up, my man? My man, what's cool? What's good, son? And I would just sit there, no, and people who know me, no bullshit. I don't pick up my phone as it is. So honestly, if I won to be honest, nobody would even know if I won the lottery. Like, straight up, I wouldn't even tell anybody. But I mean, literally. But what happens, and we all know this. What happens when you just had a bad breakup? You're depressed. You're down on your luck. Nobody wants to be near you. You know what I mean? They just ignore you. So, like I said, like the girl, she wasn't invisible. She was just ignored. But I hope that this just brings to light that that they're even then, being ignored, it's like this little girl still found something to hold on to, and that's real strength to me. So if hopefully, let me know your thoughts on it, and let me know what you think. But with that being said, until next time, take care.